Okay, so let's continue on with our week 2 projects of character development using healing brush, and what we're going to focus on here is a paste into command. Now, the sooner you can use your own photographs, the better. This is me, messing around in the backyard after going swimming and looking at my cockatiel. But I'm going to turn it into a character, one of the characters in one of my stories. Now, the first thing you need to do if you're using photographs is do check the size. For example, this is too big for what we're doing, just posting on the web. I'm not going to print it out. So I uncheck resample, change the DPI to 72, recheck, and I guess I'll make this about 800. I'll make it kind of small so it fits on this monitor. You can make it a little bit bigger. I had made this one a little bigger. I'm going to close that one, and then I'm going to take a look at this. Okay, so that's going to fit on our screen a little bit better. Right. Now remember, I'm not going to write over my original. I should probably do an image duplicate, and call this, week 2 character dev or something, right? And then I can get rid of my original. I don't write over that or anything. Okay, so now I've got this file I can work on. The next thing I like to do is duplicate the background layer in case I get into trouble. I also like to bring up the levels, Control L, and just see how the levels and the colors and everything are looking. Now I'm basically gonna be using the selection tools. We're gonna be focusing on the selection tools today. We talked about the healing brush and smudge tool, last time. And what I'm gonna do here, I think I'm gonna make I'm gonna give myself some big ears. And again, I am thinking also about, when I'm writing about this character, why do they have big ears? I mean, on the planet that this character comes from, maybe it's, they live in a society where, for whatever reason, whether it's hunting or what have you, where they need to have a really good hearing. And the same thing, with a sense of smell. Maybe it's still a jungle environment, right? I'm not sure about the eyes. I was messing around with this earlier. Let's go ahead and just, for the sake of this assignment, right? Now, you remember with the healing brush. Now, I'm not going to go through in my own on this tutorial. I'm going to change my brush sizes and everything. In this tutorial, I'm not going to make this perfect. I would expect you would, since you're going to have more time to work on it. But, again, I'm going to be using the healing brush. If this was something I was working on, I would be using the healing brush to, make sure that this thing, and the clone stamp tool to make sure that this thing looked like as seamless as possible, right? Which we're not going to get here right now because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. This is maybe going to be a little bit more problematic. I'd probably zoom in on there. Remember, you can zoom in on these areas, and you can use the clone stamp tool, adjust your brush size down, extremely small, where we can start popping in, selecting and then adding, and then maybe with the smudge tool going in there and trying to, make it look a little bit more natural. Again, the more time you spend on this, the more you get into this assignment, obviously, the better it's going to look, right? More than just a 5 or 10 minute tutorial that we're going to be looking at here. But again, I'm going to want to play with this. There's a lot of things that we covered in week 1. The vibrance, I'm going to be thinking about the color. Maybe I want to, once I isolate this guy, maybe I want to change the skin color. So how do I isolate him? Right? I want to go in here. Now I'm using this tool. My selections are a little rough. Remember, you can go in and zoom in and add with your shift key, once we've got this selected, and get a really good selection. And you can delete little things that are hanging there, right? And we'll look at that in a second. First, I just want to get this base, because I want to talk about the paste into command. We're going to be in the last assignment we did a little character study, and here we're going to be doing character study, but with a background. Okay. I'll work on the hair later. Okay, so I've got this selected, right? Now I'm going to fill it with black. The reason I'm going to fill it with black is that I want to be able to come over here with my magic wand and select that black, and we're going to see why in a minute. Now remember, I want to go in and fix the hair, at some point. I want to go in and fix these selections. And what I was talking about as far as like some of the selections, look, you can select your lasso tool and you can zoom in on areas, like this, and with your lasso tool you can get, down to pixels. I mean, that's how, and holding down your space bar, you can move things around, and I can go in here, and again, what I would expect anybody doing this assignment to do would be to spend the time on this. Now I have my anti-alias box checked on this selection device, and I'm just doing a fill, which is just Option backspace. Okay, so let's imagine that I've gone in there, and again, I mean, just to reiterate, the clone stamp tool, I can fill this in, and make this nice. I can blend around, Shift Option click, and I can add things to this to make it look, interesting, and like it belongs there. I can add hair, I can put on a helmet, whatever it is for this particular character, I can make it look interesting. I think especially around this edge, I'd want to fix that up. Zoom in, select around that nose, and again, I'll just go over that real quick. If I want to, get that, I can do this lasso here if I feel good enough about my selection skills, or I can use that little magnetic lasso, which lets me go, boom, boom, boom. It's a little more hard edge. It might not give you the more natural look, but if you put your points close enough together, it'll let you do that. Okay, so selection tools, getting those edges looking really nice, right? Got some areas up in here that need some work, but I want to move on now to I'm going to select the background, and watch. Here's an easy way to select. I'm going to hold down my Option key, and I'm going to deselect that part of the beard that was selected. And now I'm going to do a select inverse, okay, which is up above there. And now the head is selected and not the background. This is where, and I'm going to duplicate this layer. And this is where I could colorize this if I wanted. I could change, bring it up, Control U, my hue saturation. If I want to make this person or this creature, more like there, it kind of looks like an avatar kind of a thing, right? Or if I want to make them maybe green, and play with the saturation, play with my levels a little bit there. So now we're getting kind of an alien look, right? Rough, still rough, but again, that's not the purpose of this tutorial, to get in there and make it absolutely perfect, because that's easy stuff. Zooming in, smoothing it out, cutting it away, etc. So I need something I can paste in here, and I was thinking Hubble telescope. So I'm going to go to Google Images and go get a nice big Hubble telescope image. So I'm just Googling Hubble images, and I can look for something that I would think would be really cool. And if I'm looking for images, and I can specify large images. Oh, let's see, any size. Let's make them large. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. See how it says large here. And now I'm going to look for something that would be pretty cool to put in my background. Okay, so let me get that. Now you can see here it's showing me the large image. I'm going to drag it to my desktop, and then I'm going to open it up in Photoshop. Boom. Okay, now select all, Control A, Control C, copy, go over here, magic wand. Now watch, instead of doing a paste, and I keep getting that beard, I've got to subtract that, holding down my Option key. Now I'm going to do an edit paste into. It's an edit paste special, paste into, and that is going to paste in that Hubble telescope image. And I can move that around, depending on how big it is, and get it to fit. Okay, so I'm almost done here, right? I mean, I've got this nice character that I've developed, and well, I've got little things that I need to clean up in here and work on. I need to figure out where I want this Hubble image. Which is the best kind of like location for it. I want the face to stand out, so maybe if I bring it down, I kind of want maybe something like that. I'm not wild about the way this blue is interacting with the face, but that's actually pretty good. Control L, bump, play with my levels, right? I can desaturate that if I want, right? I could take it down if I wanted it to be, like that. I could tone it down a little bit if I wanted the face to be, stand out a little bit more. I could really pump it up if I wanted it to be more hallucinogenic and more, just a little bit more extroverted. Right? Too much. Remember, this is a portrait. We're going to be working on environments. I could take it down like that if I wanted. Right? So, let me split the difference here. And I can also change the hue of that background if I want. I'm just going to cancel out. I'm going to go with the original. Now, other things I can do, I can add a layer, I can do a gradient. Hold on. I'm going to click foreground to transparent. I'm going to have black in the foreground. I just want to see what would happen if, let's see, I want to be in this layer. Okay. I just want to see what would happen if I darken some of this, because I might want to put something up in here, right? Maybe some text or something. Maybe it's... I don't know. Again, this is like something you'd have to play with. It's kind of interesting to see maybe that, with a kind of a background there, which kind of highlights the face, right? Actually, that's not too bad. Let me go ahead and, maybe I kind of like this stark background with this. Now, again, this is where now I would go back to the face, and I would go in and I would clean up these edges, clean up around here in the hair, fix any color, fix all these little things in here. The devil is in the details here, right? Make this as realistic as possible. Clean up this little glitch, etc. Maybe add something to the hair there, whatever. And I'd also be thinking about who this character is and what he does. Now, the last thing I'd do is add a label. Make this kind of professional looking in its presentation. And we're going to go to canvas size, make sure white's in the background. We're going to add 50 pixels. Okay? We're going to pick just a generic font like Arial. 11 pixel is good. Make sure sharp or smoothing's turned on. And I would call this, Leonor. I don't know. Leonor. Character study. And then name. Your name. Because basically title, name, and then year. Kind of a gallery presentation, right? You don't have to put week 2, assignment 3, or anything like that. But, what we're going to want is a label like that. And then a file. Save for web and devices. High quality JPEG. Save it. Post it to the threads. Okay. Now the next assignment we're going to be doing, we're going to be working in an environment. So we're going to go into more of a macro kind of a look instead of this macro kind of like close up, far off kind of approach. And we're going to be doing kind of these same things in developing an alien environment.